what you do is, hey.
But
to each their own. We need them, too.
It's intention. They're trying to start a conversation. They want to argue with people. And,
I know. That's why I said zero successful people.
Yeah, it's just...
You know where they belong. You once said that you would pay $1 million to do an interview with OJ. And now he's all over the place, and he's on with,
Twitter World.
It Is What It Is podcast.
Well, okay, so I did say that.
Would you still?
Well, there's a story behind that.
Okay.
Right. So I said it for, the interview that I want to do, which is like, all right, we're gonna dig into everything, because I interviewed Kato Caitlin, so I got the perspective of someone that was there during the time. Like, he wasn't there at the the crime scene, but he was at the house and saw OJ right before and right afterwards. And
he was at the pool house or some shit.
He lived in the pool house. Exactly. Yeah, he was the living
solve this shit.
The living guy. You know what I'm saying? So I got a pretty good perspective on the story. I had to do a lot of research behind the story and so forth. So if OJ wants to sit down and get into the details of the murder and his role in it and everything else like that. And at this point, technically, he could talk about it because he was found not guilty. And if he wants to really talk about everything, I think that would be worth $1 million. But there was a serious conversation about doing the OJ interview. And me and the guy that he referred me to were talking about doing it it was going to be for $100,000. But the understanding was that we're not really going to dwell too much on the murder part. I was going to go into it with the stance of you were found not guilty, right? You were found not guilty, so I'm not going to ask you, did you kill her? How'd you kill her? Whatever else. But, taking us through the whole course of the trial and
let him say it.
And then as well as getting to the whole story of the Las Vegas, robbery, and him getting caught with it, the guns pulled out, the memorabilia shit that he ultimately got convicted for and everything else like that. And I'm like, at the time, it was like $100,000 was something that I think was plausible business-wise. And it ultimately stopped when his guy wanted all the money up front before he actually sat down and did the interview. And he wouldn't budge on that. And I'm like, weird. Fuck out of here. OJ already owes.
Take my first.
OJ owes millions of dollars to not only the Nicole Brown's family, but the other guy's family, as well as to his own kids, who sued him on grandparents' behalf. Like, he owes tens of millions of dollars that he will never pay. So I'm supposed to trust a motherfucker like this?
Send the wire.
The fuck?
No.
I'm supposed to trust this motherfucker to not just walk out? Like, well, unless you push him a little too hard, he goes, all right, so I'll pay him afterwards.
Yeah, I don't think pushing OJ is a good idea.
So,
you know what I mean?
so OJ is doing shit with Cameron and Mace, but it's all softball shit. Talking about sports. They're not talking about the murder case. They're talking about sports. I could have had OJ talking about sports for way cheaper than $100,000. I'm sure they're cutting him a check as well because they got a big sponsorship, from what I understand, around that show. But yeah, like, what I want to do is what I want to do. Like I have if we're going to do this and we're going to do a serious business transaction, it has to make sense. It has to be something that I think is going to be important. I'm not just going to cut a $100,000 check just to say I got OJ and have a lame ass interview or have him walk out and try to try to scam me. And that was essentially the stopping point. So this is why, and now I wouldn't even offer that because things have changed and the economy has changed. And in the words of Fat Joe, yesterday's price is not today's price, because today's price is a lot lower. That doesn't always mean that tomorrow will be a higher price. It means that tomorrow's price might be 25% of what I offered you yesterday. So a lot of times you got to take that money when it's offered, because tomorrow, hey, shit changes.
Yeah. So this is a live quote, my friend.
Yeah, OJ dropped the bag.
Nah, but I think Vlad knows something. I think Vlad was about to solve that murder. You know what I'm saying? I think he was about to solve this shit. And now you think Keefe D was big.
Yeah.
He was about to solve the OJ shit.
Yeah. But
Vlad knows something. I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah. No, that's what I get more from. I'm diving back into interviews that I've already watched from you after this one, because now I'm gonna sit there and pick it apart and hear the storyline to it and how you kind of move through it, because it's a great learning experience, but also it's like to smoke a blunt and to watch something like that is fucking intriguing. You know what I mean? It's just like, whoa, what's going on here?
We also mentioned that, like, when we have like other guests up here, other rappers and stuff like that, it's cool to, after you meet them, go back and see their work too. It's like, I get it now. I see it from such a different perspective. That guy's cool as fuck. I know what he meant. I get it. You know, it's a nice treat. So it'll be cool to watch those interviews and be like, man, I know Vlad, man.
And shout out to Yayo. Because Yayo was bigging you up. Yayo was like, yo, Vlad's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He was like, yo, if I do a podcast, I'm going to do it like Vlad. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
That's my man. He hit me up the other day. He on tour in Poland or some shit.
You're still over there?
He's still over there. Yeah. The reason why you haven't seen Yayo is because he's on tour with 50.
Yeah.
Well, he's... What?
We interviewed with him, and we drove him over to, after the interview was over, we drove him over to West Palm to get there immediately because the interview lasted so long. He's like, we got to get the fuck out of here. So we had to drive out there.
He's overseas. Yo, Yayo is great because this is someone that I've known during my DVD era. Like, I used to go down to G-Unit Studios and with my camera and film him. You know what I'm saying? When he would take off his bulletproof vest because the beef was on at that point. And, me and him, we had a little bit of tension between us. You know, at one point, there was some shit I put out that he had a problem with. So coming into that first interview, I was a little nervous because Tony has a reputation of being a loose cannon. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know, I think 50 loves him so much. Yeah. So and we had a moment, like that whole shut the fuck up, when I pushed him a little bit, with some of my questions. But I think after that, we broke the ice with that, and he saw how well that interview did and how much people really care what he has to say and his personality. He suddenly, now he's doing way more interviews. You know, he did the Breakfast Club. He did,
it's true.
Mike Tyson's interview. Like, you got to think that for 10 years, you didn't see Tony in front of the camera at all. Mm-hmm. He was just 50's man. He would drop a song here and there. Now he actually has kind of like a second career. Yeah. And we talk about this. Cool. This is him saying this. He now has a whole second career. He's now talking about his own podcast. He's now going on tours solo. Way more. He did a whole Canadian tour.
2023, Yayo still, I love that.
And it's like, yo, I love it. Like, I love that I was the one to bring that out of him, and we continue to rock with each other, and he's a very loyal guy. And that's, you know what I'm saying? Like I've had a lot of guests that have used this as as part of their careers. Although they may do other things like doing interviews and being out there and getting more shows and being more visible and everything else like that. There's been a lot of people like that. And Yayo just happened to be one of the more latest ones. Nice. And I love it. And it's like,
shout out to Vlad, helping the culture. Y'all know what it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you.
You definitely missed the opportunity for DJ Valid. Just want to let you know that DJ Valid in these streets. You know,
Vlad's my real name. Man. Yeah. Like, it's funny how I didn't like it growing up. Yeah, and now it just became a thing.
Yeah, because Vlad was definitely like the Russian name.
Name.
It's probably like shit.
I couldn't think of nothing else. And Vlad TV, I couldn't really think of nothing else. And I just, fuck it.
It works.
It somehow worked. But anything will work if you put enough energy into it. Kanye was a very weird name when you first heard it.
Yeah.
I used to say it wrong.
You say like Kane and stuff like that. But now, Kanye is Kanye. Like, every name has an energy. Every important name has a lot of work behind that. It's not that the name just clicks the first time you hear it. It's like, it's the work behind the name. So,
absolutely.
P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Brother Love.
Yeah, keep changing his name.
All the above.
He keeps putting work behind another name.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
You know, there's obviously we had.